So we are back, our milestone moment where we take top realtors and ask them questions about their business, their background. Today we have Sidne Newell. Welcome to the show, Sidne. We're great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So to start, can you share a little bit about your background and what led you to real estate?
Yeah, so I kind of had an interesting start to real estate. It wasn't linear. I will give you the shortened version, but I tried all these different careers out and nothing really seemed to fit. What I didn't like about it was I put in all this energy and effort and never really reaped the reward of that energy and effort. So interestingly enough, real estate wasn't the first career path that I went on. I got heavily into fitness.
Okay.
I became a personal trainer and I thought, okay, this is it. I found my thing. I found my people. I didn't care financially that wasn't maybe the best decision at the time. But
it's a hard thing,
yeah.
Loving things versus what the actual pays the bills.
I just wanted to wake up and enjoy life and love what I did. And so I thought, this is it. And at the time, I was, working out 5 days a week, twice a day sometimes, and doing some really competitive sports. That competitive sport actually landed me with a traumatic brain injury.
Oh my gosh, I did not know this about you. Tell me more.
Yeah, exactly. So at the time, it felt like the end of the world, but it really wasn't. It was actually the beginning of this amazing journey. Okay. What I really loved about it is I had 6 months to really figure out what it is that I wanted to do, because in that time with traumatic brain injury, you just sit there. You can't do anything. Can't really do anything. So I really had to think of a massive shift in my life into something that I was equally as passionate about, and that would get me excited. And so I had a girlfriend of mine who had mentioned she was getting licensed, and I go, okay, well, this sounds kind of interesting. It kind of aligns with some of my hobbies, and I really love to go down this path, but I had to wait for it a little bit, right? So around the 6-month mark, and I kid you not, the recovery was something like I could read a sentence, and then I could read a paragraph, day by day, learning a little bit more without inducing these symptoms. Right. And it took me some time, but I got to this point where I had worked so hard for something that should have been relatively simple and had this amazing outcome. I remember I passed with flying colors. I called Aaron Wood at Keller Williams Bellevue, and I was so excited on the call. I was like, I did it, I've made it, and it just took off from there.
Oh my gosh, so was Keller Williams the first office you worked
yes.
for?
Yes, amazing team there.
It's so rare to find that in this business, that where you started is where you currently
are. And Keller Williams Bellevue is like a family to me. It's so supportive. The entire staff is really driving. Yeah, they're driving my career and making sure I get to where I need to go. So
I love it. Well, and this may have been something you've already led into, but this show, there was milestone moment when you knew that real estate was for you. And was that just right when you got in, or tell me a little bit more about when you knew this was the path that you were on that made sense?
It's a really good question. I've actually had a collection of milestone moments, so it's really
which
hard.
Is fair. I've probably had 3 in my career.
And each time it's such a learning process. I'd love to refer to actually a more recent one, though I have some amazing stories from both the buy and the list side on how implementing this plan and strategy has gotten everyone to the finish line and cheering on all sides. But I actually recently had a client that had been sitting on market for about 5 months. Okay. She gave me a ring after that had not worked out and said, hey, Sidne, I've heard that you have this really great strategy around open houses. I heard that you've had a great success rate. This is, mind you, a condominium, and where days on market are typically like 30. Right. And I said, okay, let's give this a go. I went over my strategy. We really, thought through everything. I educated her where she needed to be educated, and then we got to this position of execution, and we got multiple offers on the first week.
Oh wow!
It was all around our, open house strategy, and from day one, we want to make sure that we're implementing everything and executing everything to a T, from amazing, videography, photography, staging, the whole 9 yards. I always tell my clients, whether you're a luxury client or, a first-time home buyer or seller, you're going to get the experience same throughout. I want everyone to feel equally as loved and cared for, no matter the price point.
I love it. Now, you are a weekend warrior. I go out and, as you know, I bring sandwiches and just kind of go around the neighborhood, and I see your signs everywhere. You're so active. Is open house, is that just where you connect with people? Is that your strategy? Tell me more about your open houses.
Yeah, so I'm through and through have a lot of strategies around open houses. I think a great conversation piece would be more so the open house strategy around listings.
Yeah.
You know, my job as I'm hosting these open houses, not just to sell the house, but to sell the area. A lot of you know, buyers that come through, they may have been sitting on the edge for you know, several years or 6 months, just kind of waiting it out, but never really gotten that one-on-one experience with a realtor that explained the benefit and value around living in a specific area or living in a specific house. And so what I do is I spend so much time educating buyers that come through those open house that we gain all of this momentum. And that momentum, you know, comes to fruition on offer review.
Now, obviously, your ability to connect with people, I think, is second to none, which is probably why open houses are such a successful pillar for you. Is that something that just was natural, or do you it just is?
No, you know, real estate's super funny because I meet all of these agents, and I'm really loving this portion of my life where I can now kind of pass down some knowledge to others.
Yeah.
But I really like to stress and emphasize to newer agents, like, there is going to be a thing that you are going to draw yourself to a little bit more than others. And there is somewhat of a natural skill set, but everything after that is just hard work. It's being able to adjust, not doing the same thing, repetitive thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We're, you know, from my open house strategy, you know, a lot of conversations that I have with other agents or, you know, even clients that want more of a deep understanding of what I'm trying to accomplish is around the conversations that I'm having at those open houses, understanding different personality types, understanding different communication styles. All of those pieces that, you know, seem relatively unimportant are very important.
Well, the benefits are in the details, right? So obviously that's a huge part of your business, which is exciting. So we're in 2025 has been an interesting start to the year for a lot of agents. Is there anything this year that you're trying to implement or looking to do for the rest of this year into 2026 that you're excited about, or any changes you're making in your business?
Yeah, so I have to give huge credit to my brokerage. This year I'm a part of the ALC, which is the Associate Learning Committee, which is fantastic. They really hone in on focus on their agents and also are big on to, you know, teaching others. So
interesting. Okay. And that's like just a way to kind of give back to some of the agents in your office. Then obviously you kind of show that your expertise, and also when you're coaching somebody, maybe that helps you like implement and re-engineer some of your business.
Absolutely.
I love that. Is there any professional goals or personal goals that you see this year that you're striving towards, or anything that you want to share with us?
You know, this year I really want to focus in on my people. And when I say my people, a lot of my clients start out as clients and then they end up becoming friends. And it's kind of just the nature of the industry. We end up working with people that we really connect with. And so my goals for 2025 is less so in the numbers and more so in just leaning in with people and loving on people in the best way.
I love that. I literally, just this last weekend, went to a church where a past client or just recent homeowner was the pastor, and then I had to, you know, I got to come here and they were celebrating their recent, another couple that was celebrating their recent closing, and I was basically exactly that. It's all about like the changes of lives that you can kind of be a part of, and not just about the numbers. Now tell me, obviously, like I've always been, people ask me like, how do you manage this? And I'm like, I just want to connect with people, and I'm not managing like friendships, like because clients become your friends. Like how do you kind of like determine the difference between managing a past client relationship or just growing your friend network? Like, that's like your friendship. Interesting, right?
Yeah, it's a fine line, and like I like to keep myself accountable and ask myself that question too whenever I'm entering into whether it's an event or a conversation with a friend who was a past client. I can't fake it.
Right. I was gonna say, you want to be super authentic.
I truly can't fake it. If it's somebody that that I've connected with on a transactional in a transactional way, that I also connect in a personal way, that personal side just takes over.
Right.
And so if I'm reaching out to them, it's because I genuinely care about them and just reaching out to them because I've been so fortunate to have them now in my life versus, you know, transactional. I'm very intentional. If I know I'm calling somebody transactionally, I'm upfront about it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, Sidne, you've been a fantastic guest. Are there any closing remarks, anything you want to leave us with, anything you want to tell us on the way out?
No, I just want to say that your food is amazing, and I'm super grateful to be here. So
You're talking about Saints and Scholars, not the Mortgage food. I mean, right? So yes, we're here at our Irish pub, so thank you. We're lucky to have you come in many times and come to our events, and I'm going to definitely continue to track you down at the open houses in the neighborhood. So thanks so much for being here.
thank you.
Okay.